Hello, welcome to another Tonic Craft Kit unboxing video. Today's one is for kit number 55 and it is called the Bureau Bloom box. So as you can guess, it creates a little gift box, but obviously I'll be showing you a few ideas of different ways to put the box together actually, and also a couple of card making ideas as well. But I think there's definitely a lot more card making ideas too, but I had a separate project that Tonic wanted me to make, so I didn't have as much time as usual just to make just normal cards for you. But there's a nice variety of samples in this month's video. So let's get on with the unboxing. So first of all, let's start with the Nouveau, because that's always my favourite part of the kit. So we actually have a decent amount in this month's kit. We've got like a really lovely selection of goodies that will be nice for you to try, but there's also staples or things in here that will just go straight into your stash and like are essential items or something useful that you may not have tried before. So first of all, let's look at the glue. So this is the double-ended glue pen. It's their essential glue. It used to be called Funky Glue, but they changed it to just be in their essential brand of glue. And it is actually, I haven't got one open. I haven't had one in a while actually. It was quite a while ago that I finished my last one up, but they come like this. How much do they have in them? 29.5 millilitres, so practically 30 millilitres of glue in there. And then they have two ends to them. So one end is like a more precision sort of application. And if you want a comparison, the nozzle of the Nouveau Deluxe adhesive is that size compared to this one. So it's not as fine as the Nouveau Deluxe adhesive, but it's still a reasonably fine kind of application. And if you use it for, you know, like dabbing the glue off on the back of your hand or putting the glue on your hand first and picking it up on the die cuts that way, it doesn't really matter so much that it's not quite as fine as the Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. But when you do want larger areas to be covered with adhesive for doing like the ideas that I've shown you with adding like loads of buttons or sequins and then putting the glitter on top of them as well, you actually have the wide spreader end on the other end, which has like little silicone teeth on there that help you spread the glue around. And you can squeeze it and some of the glue will come through into that applicator, and then you can just spread it onto your project as well. So if you're working in larger areas or gluing down maybe like a thicker type of cardboard or something, you've got that larger nozzle in there as well. And it stands up quite nicely on your desk, or it will fit in a pen pot nicely as well. And you could put it upside down if you use the fine end more and you want the glue to be always ready there. So that's the first thing we're getting, the double-ended glue pen. This is just like PVA glue in here. I don't think it's quite the same as the Nouveau Deluxe adhesive glue. I think it's more like the Tacky Glue that you can buy in the bigger bottles from Tonic. I'm just trying to see where mine went. I was tidying my desk the other week. I don't remember seeing it actually. Maybe I finished my bottle that I had open. But I've shown you the Tacky Glue before in the past because we've had them in the Tonic Craft kits, but I think it's more like that kind of a PVA glue, which I think just has a slightly higher water content, so it doesn't dry as quickly as the Nouveau Deluxe adhesive does. But it's a really great glue as well, and it's nice and handy having it in this little applicator. So you're getting that. Then we're also getting a selection of the Nouveau alcohol pens. You might have some of these, you might not. These are actually some of my most used colours because I had picked these ones out and left them in the kit, and I was colouring something the other day and I'm like, where's that pen gone? And then I remembered that it was in the kit. But 412 in particular, I love blending that one with 410. So if you have 410, that goes really nicely with the 412. But actually the 449 and the 452 blend really nicely together. I don't think I usually blend those two together actually, but they do go really nicely together. And the 449 is the perfect kind of like rosy cheek pink that I often use when I'm colouring in little characters and stuff. But a lovely little selection of pens, and if you've never tried their alcohol pens before, this gives you a nice little taster as to what they're like. Or if you had the previous alcohol pens that they brought out, they revamped them about a year ago and you might not have tried them yet, so it's quite nice for you to get a glimpse of trying them. And I have done a whole video comparing the old ones to the new ones and telling you all the features of the new pens, but just as like a quick recap, they have they've changed the shape of the pen so that when you've got them like in your pen unit or when they're on your desk, you can see the colours. They've changed the whole shape of them and then added the colours to the end of them as well, which I think is really handy. And you have it on the body as well. Some of my original pens, I didn't have the name of them on the body because they only started adding the stickers on later. So it's quite nice to actually have the name on there and on the lids as well. And they have done it so that the lids go on top of each other. So when you're colouring, you don't have to have a load of lids all over your desk or risk losing them. You can just pop them on the end as you're colouring in. Which I love that, but you'll still see me in videos that I'm colouring like this, holding the pen lid, because I forget, because all of my other pens, you can't do that with them. So it's just like a habit that you hold the lid in your hand. But yeah, you can do that, and I love the fact that you can do that, and it doesn't mess with the balance of the pen at all either. It's not too heavy of a lid, so it doesn't really, you know, mess with how it feels in your hand as you're colouring. And the Nouveau alcohol pens have the fine bullet tip on one end and the chisel tip on the other end. And it's about the same kind of size chisel as the Copic chisel, if I remember correctly. So a nice decent sized chisel on there as well. And they just look really sleek and elegant as well. They're really lovely design. Well, like with all Tonic stuff, they're fantastic with their packaging, and it just makes it look so aesthetically pleasing on your desk. And having them in either a pen pot or some horizontal pen storage, however you like to store your pens, it's really nice having that full colour cap on there because you can instantly identify them. Although I do recommend doing colour swatches as well. But yeah, those are the 3 colours of pens that we're getting in here. And not only can you use these for just colouring your images, you can also use them to colour tint papers, and I'll show you that later on as well. Then we're also getting a full spool of the Craft Perfect ribbon. It's in the sweet pink colour. You get 5 meters, and you will either get a 3mm width roll or the 9mm. So it's definitely going to be this colour, but it depends, you know, what random selection you get of if you get the 3mm or the 9mm of the ribbon. But both of them are beautiful. I would say the 3mm is probably more useful for the box that's in this kit, but if you have other ribbon in your stash or you have baker's twine or something, you can definitely use that on your box if you do get the 9mm ribbon. But 9mm ribbon is also fantastic for you know, like adding a border around your card, hiding the join where you might have cut a die cut apart and you want to hide that join. A thick ribbon like this is fantastic. Also great for tying bows as well. So you're getting one or the other of those ribbons, and it's in that gorgeous sweet pink colour. This is the last of my first roll of the 3mm. It's a really lovely pale pastel pink, but if you wanted it to be slightly brighter, just use your alcohol pen to colour it as well. That's a really easy way of darkening up the colour. I mean, you could have a go with the green too. It might look a little bit muddy because you're putting the green over the pink, but you can give it a go if you want to colour your ribbon as well. Then the next Nouveau product we're getting is a full-sized pot of the brand new style of Glimmer Paste. This came out a few months back, I can't actually remember when, but the new style are in a hexagonal pot. And this colour is the one I can't pronounce, or I'm not sure exactly how you say it. I think it's Nephrite Nebula. And it's this gorgeous green glittery colour, and I do have a full video showing you all of the new colours of the new style of Glimmer Paste, and also comparing them to the old style as well, and telling you what the differences are and how they've changed the formula and stuff. And this is what it looks like when it dries. So it's really pretty, and it's got like a real mixture of glitter in there. I don't know if you can 100% tell on camera. It's not going to focus, I don't think, but it's got green, and it looks like it has turquoise and gold in it as well. So it's a really pretty multicoloured green, but it still looks dark green from a distance. But if you look at it up close, you have those beautiful extra colours in there, which is always lovely. And I've used Glimmer Paste quite a bit in the past. In the samples that I will show you later on, I've used it through a stencil, which is like the basic way of using your Glimmer Paste. But you can also turn your die cuts into stencils and then use your Glimmer Paste through that. Or you can do the technique that I really enjoy doing actually, and I think I showed it in the Glimmer Paste video, where you die cut your intricate detail die, you stick it down onto your card, then then you scrape your Glimmer Paste over the top of that die cut that you stuck onto card so it fills in all of the gaps, and then when it's dry you can stick another die cut over the top. So it's similar to when I flood a die cut with Nouveau drops, but you can also do it with your Glimmer Paste as well. And there's loads of other ways of using it too that I mention in the full Glimmer Paste video if you want to go and see all about that. And then another gorgeous glittery product, we have also got a full-sized Nouveau glitter drop, and this one is called Enchanting Pink, and it is a stunning pink, this one. I really enjoyed using this one, and again I tried to show you a few different ways of using this on the different projects coming up later on as well, and you can also use this one through your stencils too, and I'll show you that on a finished project. But you can also just swipe it across a piece of card to make it look glittery. You do get pink glitter card in this kit, but for whatever reason, if you wanted a lighter pink or you know, a different area covered in with pink glitter, you've got this as an option, or you can obviously just use it as your Nouveau drops as well, depending on however you like to use all of your Nouveau products. And you get the pink glitter card in the kit, but you don't get green glitter card, but you could definitely use your green Glimmer Paste to create green glitter card if you wanted that as well. So that is all of the main Nouveau products. However, you'll probably see something else here. You're also getting one of the Nouveau stamp cleaning cloths. I've had mine for a little while. I'll just get it actually. I've got it clipped up next to my desk, and you can see when you haven't actually been using it, it dries out and it goes like really crunchy. I think when you get it in the packet, yeah, it does feel soft. The way they've packaged it, it's in like an airtight bag inside this packet, and it keeps it nice and soft and pliable. But when it's been drying, after you finished using it and maybe you haven't used it for a few days or something, and all the moisture evaporates, it ends up being like this really like weird kind of consistency. It almost feels like soggy cardboard, you know, when cardboard has got really soggy and then it's dried out. It kind of feels like that. But I'll show you this. If I move all of the rest of this out of the box, and then I can show you how this works, because I didn't actually do a video on it in the end, I don't think. I bought one intending to do the video on it, but I don't think I ended up doing it. But anyway, this is the stamp cleaning cloth, and all I do when I'm going to use mine, it's for cleaning your stamps if you hadn't already gathered that, but I have my crunchy cloth that is usually clipped up next to me, and then all I do is, you can actually just wet a portion of it if you want to. So I could just wet this corner if I've just done a little bit of stamping and I've only got a couple of stamps to clean. You can just soak that corner, and you can see once it's wet it goes back to the same state that it will be in when you take it out of your package, and it goes really nice and like limber so that you can use it to clean your stamps with. I'm sure you could actually use it as like a surface cleaner for your glass mat as well, and you can actually spray your Nouveau stamp cleaning solution onto here as well if you've got stubborn ink on your stamps too, rather than like a water-based one. Maybe you've been using the Nouveau hybrid inks and the colour's not coming off the stamp as much as you want to. You can use your Nouveau stamp cleaning solution on here as well. But it goes really pliable. So you can see this is bone dry still, and this part I've wet, and it's nice and malleable so that you can clean your stamps with it. And you literally just use it like you would a baby wipe, and just wipe over your stamps with it, and then you can wash it in the sink and leave it to dry, and then once it's dry, you know, peg it back up in your craft room. Or actually, I'm not sure where I've put it now. I had one of those little salt cellars. I got it really cheap in a charity shop, and you can actually have this wet, scrunch it all up, put it inside the salt cellar, and then when you want to use it again, you just spray some more water inside the cellar, and then you'll be able to get it back out again. And it's quite a nice way of keeping it, because you're not going to accidentally lay some card on it because it's wet. Obviously all the moisture will go into your card, so you kind of want to make sure you don't accidentally lay something important on top of this and you might ruin it. But yeah, it's a really cool tool actually, and it's quite nice that you're getting one in the kit. So if you didn't get one when they first came out, which again was quite a while ago now, must be over a year ago now, if you didn't get one, it's quite a nice thing to try. Or if you did get one, maybe yours is looking a little bit worse for wear and you really wanted a new one, so it's quite nice to have that in the kit for you as well. So that is the Nouveau stamp cleaning cloth. Then let's have a look at the cardstock next. So we've got our lovely little folder with all of our cardstock in again. And we have got a lovely selection of, quite a nice stash actually, of the normal textured cardstock. You've got 5 sheets altogether of the normal Craft Perfect textured card, which has got that linen weave on one side and then it's smooth on the other. And you've got grass green, raspberry pink, blossom pink, and then you've got 2 sheets of their bright white as well. So you've got a really nice selection that you can use to create the base of your box if you want to, or you can use a stronger, like higher GSM, 300 GSM or something card from your stash as well, depending on how much you think the box is going to be used and stuff as well. You can play around with that, and then you can use this for like layering the patterns onto the box, or this is just great for like matting and layering onto your cards as well. So loads of different ways of using your textured cardstock. I did actually make the box that past me is already going to show you in a minute, if that made any sense, and the one that I'm going to construct at the end of the video, I made both of them out of the Texture Craft Perfect, and they seem perfectly sturdy enough to create the box out of. So those are the 5 sheets of textured card that we're getting. And then we have also got 4 sheets of Specialty cardstock as well. So the first one is that gorgeous rainbow. I really love the iridescent rainbowy kind of card. This is the Seafoam green, so it's a beautiful green colour. This is the slightly deeper green of the two, because Tonic do 2 greens. I think the other one's called Water Sprite, but this one is Seafoam green, which is a slightly darker one. Then we also have a sheet of the Pearlescent white, which has got that gorgeous gold mica-y sort of finish when it catches the light, and it is double-sided. And then we also have the Specialty Ice Rink, which again has that gold kind of finish. They're very similar actually in their finish, but Ice Rink has a beautiful almost diamond or diagonal sort of cross-hatched-y, canvasy sort of a texture to it, and these two are the 2 that I was using my alcohol pens on to colour them. So these are invaluable, these 2 sheets, and you could use them, or if you have packs of them, you can use any of your Nouveau alcohol pens to colour them, and then you get the colour of Pearlescent card with whatever colour of pen you decided to colour it with, which I think is always a fantastic way of using these sort of whiter Pearlescent finished cards. Or if you want to do like a wedding card and do white on white, it's fantastic for that as well. And then the final sheet that we're getting is one of the gorgeous glitter card sheets, and this one is Candy Floss, and it's a beautiful pink. It's kind of got that Aurora Borealis kind of finish in there. There's a little bit of green in there as well, and a few different shades of pink, but it's a really, really pretty one, and it goes really nicely with the pink glitter drop from the kit as well. But you can definitely, if you want glitter card that's green, because you have your Glimmer Paste in the kit, I would recommend taking green cardstock, whether it's the grass green from the kit or another green that you might have in your stash, maybe fern green, or I think it's avocado might be better with this colour because they're slightly darker colours of card. And then just scrape a really thin layer of this over the piece of card and you'll get this kind of a finish, and it will actually feel a little bit textured like this as well when using the Glimmer Paste, and it will be non-shed as well because the Glimmer Paste doesn't shed because all the glitter is contained within the substrate as well. So you can definitely create your own green glitter card if you want that for a project to go with this too. And then what you've probably all been waiting for, the actual die and stamp set. And I don't have the sticker for this month's kit, but I'm sure it will say Bureau Bloom Box on there as well, and you can stick that on your folder. And also, I put my dies onto a magnetic sheet. They don't come on a magnetic sheet when you buy a kit. It's only with showcases and stamp clubs that you get magnetic sheets with them. But let's have a look at the stamp set. No, should we look? No, we'll look at the die set first because the stamp set coordinates with the die set. So this is the die set that creates your little box, your Bureau Bloom box. And I think there are multiple ways of putting this together. Past me will explain in a second how I decided to put the box together, and then later on in the video I will show how I think it's supposed to go together. And I'm going to show you an alternative way to create a bottom to the box as well. But we'll actually run through the die set now. And this piece here, oh, if I can get it off the magnetic sheet, this piece creates the sides of your box. So the height of your box or the length of your box, depending if you're standing at portrait or landscape, is about 5 3/8 inches or just over 13.5 centimetres. So it's a decent height kind of box. And then this portion creates the lid. I can't pick things up at the moment. I'll use a magnet and cheat. It's really, if you have the magnetic, CRaFTi's magnetic platform that comes with these magnets, they're invaluable for picking up dies off of magnetic sheets. I use them all the time. If you see me with a magnet, it's usually one of those ones. Anyway, this is like the lid portion of the box, and the way past me will show you in a second, I cut 4 of these and created a whole lid to go on the top and the bottom of this central column. But I think the way you're supposed to do it is just cutting 1 of these and creating a lid from this, pulling these side pieces down. These glue tabs would stick here, and then this would be the hinge that attaches it to the box. But stay tuned for later in the video, because I will actually show you that out of cardstock, how I think it all goes together. But basically that is the side panels, and you would need 4 of them to create the box, and then this is the lid, and you can either use 1 of them, 2 of them, probably 3 of them or 4 of them to create different kinds of boxes. And I think you can vary the height of this as well. I think for the one that I'm going to construct, I will just leave it full height, but you can definitely shorten it for whatever kind of gift you want to put in there. And the way the box works is it has got clipped corners, so it is going to be slightly rectangular. Yeah, it's a very slightly rectangular box, but it has clipped corners. So if you look at this, this is going to be the top of the lid of the box. So this is the straight side, which is here, and then this is the sort of clipped corner part that's going to twist around the side of it. So that is how the box is going to look. So it's technically going to be an 8-sided box, but you only have to cut 4 of these because you've got the little skinny sides already attached to them, and that's how it's going to go together. So those are the pieces that are actually for the box, and you have little extra pieces here. I love these little things that you can use to deboss some extra detail. So this one fits perfectly in the skinny little side of the box and would give you some gorgeous debossed hearts, which again, if you love your hot foiling, give this a go with hot foiling, because I reckon you could get it to work. And it would give you some lovely little foiled stars down there. And you also get 2 different designs for the lid of the box as well. You also have the stars, so you can make it match, or you have this one, which is on the one that I'll construct later as well, which gives a really lovely, almost like quilted kind of look. I'm imagining that would go off in more like diamond shapes, and that would be sort of a quilted kind of a look. But you can also, this is to go in this portion by the way, you can also use your Nouveau drops to decorate there as well. On one of the boxes that passed, well, the box that passed me will show you, I did dots on one half of the box and a stripe of Nouveau glitter drops on the other half of the box, and that works really nicely to decorate those portions if you don't want to use these debossing ones. And then you have everything to decorate the box. So you have this lovely long side panel that decorates the main side panel of the box, and this measures about 5 1/8 inches or 13 centimetres high by 4 centimetres, or just less than 4 centimetres wide, and just less than 1.5 inches wide. So it's a decent sized strip that you could use landscape on a card, multiple times portrait on a card, diagonally on a card, loads of different ways to incorporate this onto your card making. And you also have the decorative detail that you can put inside there if you want to, or you could probably even cut it straight into the box actually and use vellum on the inside, depending on what you're using the box for and how strong you need the box to be and stuff as well. So you've got this gorgeous pattern. It's got like these little square holes that cut out all the way along the edges, and then this, when it's cut, to me almost looks like a Tudor rose. And then you've got like some gorgeous sort of like swirly designs, little stripy portions in there as well, and you'll see this cut out later on different projects that I've done. So that is the main like side panel. Then you have the top panel of the box. Again, this is a lovely shape to use on your cards, whether you just use one as the focal point to where you're going to put your sentiment, or whether you do a whole like patchwork background, putting lots of these on as well. I think it would look really lovely. You could even maybe turn it to be more of a diamond. It is slightly rectangular though, so it looks a little bit off as a diamond. And then you have the pattern to go inside. If I put the pattern that way, you can see how it's slightly rectangular it's not 100%. It gives a lovely little pattern to go inside that coordinates really nicely with that long side panel with those sort of square holes around the edges, and then a lovely floral pattern in the centre with some leaves in there as well. Then you have all of the pieces that decorate these parts of the lid here, which is kind of like the flippy up part. Again, you have the three outline dies, so you can just use pattern papers to decorate if you want to, or you can use the decorative detail inside them as well. You've got a full set of these that match the previous two that I just showed you, with very similar designs inside, and then you also have a couple of different ones here. So you've got lovely sort of, again, the same kind of flower that's in the centre here, so it'll coordinate, but more swirly designs around the edges rather than having this sort of squared pierced kind of detail around the edge. And then you also have some sentiments. So you've got a gorgeous little oval tag, an extra layering die, 2 extra different layering dies to go inside of that. So you've got one that is just a pierced design, which is this one, and then this one has got those square piercing holes that go around it, so again you can coordinate it to the rest of the box. And then you have multiple different sentiments to fit inside here as well. So you have got, if they all behave, you've got the word kiss, hugs, XOXO, and then love. So you can mix and match all of these, and you also have extra words in the stamp set as well, so you can mix and match those with that too. To make whatever kind of sentiment that you want to. And for a couple of the cards that I did, I also brought in some Dymo label as well to kind of finish off the sentiments. And as I was saying here, you also have the plain panels to cut a pattern paper. I just remembered you are also getting 2 sheets of patterned paper in the kit, but I only got 1 to play with, and I forgot that, so I hadn't put it in the folder. But you're going to get 2 of these sheets, and they're both the same. One has pale pink background, and then a sort of medium pink and a darker pink in polka dots all over it, and they're actually in kind of like chevron-y zigzags, the different colours of pink to make up the whole polka dot pattern. And on the back of this you've got a really pale green with tiny little leaves on there as well, and you actually have a stamp that is very similar to those little leaves, so you can actually recreate this patterned paper with other paper that you might have, like using a green ink pad and stamping loads of leaves on it, or you could add to this paper as well if you want to, or you could even add some of the sentiments onto here as well to make it look a little bit fuller of a design or something. But you are getting 2 sheets of this paper in there as well. I just totally forgot that I'd only got 1 sheet of it, and I was using it to cut out some bits and pieces for the one that I'm going to construct, and I'd forgotten to put it back in the folder, so you are getting 2 sheets of that. So after looking at the dies, we have also got the little stamp set that goes with the kit, and as you will probably see, you have got different panels to go with this as well. So if I get those outside dies, you can see how they will actually line up perfectly around these stamped designs, so that you can cut them out and you can colour them in first and then cut them out, because Tonic have done the great thing, like I'm always saying with the stamp clubs, they've left like enough room so that you can actually see the whole design through the die, which is really nice, because you know you're going to get the perfect placement when you die cut it after spending ages colouring it. And your alcohol pens that you have in the kit are the perfect colours for colouring this in, because you've got the green to do the foliage, and then you've got the pink to do the flowers. And you could either leave the background plain, or you could bring in a blue colour if you have blue, like even a watercolour to watercolour background, or you could vary, the flowers could be dark pink and the background could be light pink or something, if you just wanted to use what you had in the kit as well. So yeah, really lovely, gorgeous stamp designs that you can also use as panels, or you could use these to build up a background for a different kind of card. And you also have this one, which also has the oval aperture in it, which you could use the die cut words into that, or you can use any of the stamps into that as well. And you could also repeat stamp this along, oh, you know what I was saying about the ribbon, covering something up with that wider ribbon. You could stamp this multiple times up the side of a card, and then use the ribbon to go down the centre to hide all the ovals that are in there, as a different kind of way of using that stamp. I love those two little leaves I was just mentioning, and you've got both handedness of them, so you can create a lovely little frame or a little mini wreath or like little laurel leaves to go around any of your little sentiments and stuff. And then you have lots of little sentiments in here as well. So you've got thanks, which is always useful, enjoy, hugs for you always, and love, and you can mix any of those with the dies as well, which I think is really nice. So I'll put all of this away and I'll pass you over to Past Me to show you the main project that I created with this kit. So the lovely Sophie from Tonic asked me to create a little project with this month's craft kit that was like the box element, which is the actual die set from the kit, but making it house inside some like little flashcard kind of things that you could pin onto your corkboard and stuff with, like using the little stamped sentiments that are in the craft kit. So as well as doing that, as with all Tonic die sets, I've probably already said this at the beginning of the video, but you can put them together in different ways. So I didn't get instructions of how to put it together, so I'm not sure if this is the intended way or the other way that I think you could put it together as the intended way, but this is the way that I decided to create it. So if you remember I'm pretty sure it was called like Pivot Gift Box from a previous kit from ages ago, and it was this same kind of concept that I've created here, where you had a lid on the top, a lid on the bottom, and then a central section. So I decided to recreate that kind of design with this box and see if it would work, and I think it does work really nicely. I have used a mixture of all of the different colours because I wanted to try and make this whole project just with the cardstock that you're getting in the kit, and I was thinking that I could get all of the pieces out of this light pink colour, but I couldn't in the end, so I ended up cutting the top box out of white, like the top lid part out of white, but you do have enough white card to do the top and bottom from white. But I quite like the idea actually of having it mismatched, and it also gives you a couple of different ideas of how you might want to decorate it as well, if you did like, you know, the way I've kind of done this too. So this is the actual box. I guess you could have it either way if you wanted to. You could have it so it stands up like this or stands on its side. Now I think the way the box is supposed to be created is you just use one of these pieces here and you have them both on the same side, and then you use the little hinge piece from the top and the bottom of the box, and these two pieces would hinge upwards like this, and hopefully future me will show you that in like a mini construction at the end. But I think that's how it's supposed to go together, but obviously I like to do something a little bit different and see if I can, you know, create something a little bit different. So you do lose part of the decorative panel on these ones for the second one that's going underneath, but I think it gives that really nice sort of overlapped kind of look, so I think it works really well. It's not 100% the exact shape of the box. They're off like a little bit, like the score lines don't quite match up, but it still works, and the middle central section still fits inside there and everything. And then I did a cool different sort of method of like closing the box. So I tied a piece of ribbon to this bottom one using the hole, and I tied another piece of ribbon the same length to this bottom one using the hole, and then the idea is that they both come up to the top to tie in a bow, but they're two separate pieces that then weave through the extra hole that's on here as well, and then that is how you can tie the box together. So I thought that was a cool different kind of mechanism or closure to do for the box too. I wanted to show this up close as well, so I kind of did two different ways of decorating this section. So on the main section of this box I used the debossing die to go down these sections, and you do also have little debossing dies, which you will have seen earlier, to do these little central or these little diagonal sections, but you get the Nouveau glitter drops in there. So I wanted to show two kind of different ways that you could add your Nouveau glitter drops to decorate this section as well. So this one's just using Nouveau drops, and then this one I decided to do like a whole strip of Nouveau drop, and the glitter ones work really nicely for this. They seem to like to be applied in that sort of fashion. You can use them for larger areas and they don't seem to crack or anything. So I thought I'd show you those two different styles. Then what I was saying about you know, having to cut one from pink and one from white, because I was cutting it from pink first and didn't realise I didn't have enough card. So you might actually have enough card though, because I did actually snip off part of the pieces, but I didn't know I was going to do that until I was putting the box together. So I have actually done a photographic step-by-step for the Tonic blog of showing you how to put this together. And the way I did this was I kept one hole, but the second one I actually snipped off this piece. So if you're actually attempting to make this one, you wouldn't actually need to allocate this piece of card to it, so you might be able to get all of the pieces out from that one pink sheet of card, or you might have some more of that pink card in your stash that you could use as well. But I do actually like the white lid as well, because I did something different to the panels. So for all of the panels, I cut them out of the Ice Rink cardstock that we're getting in the kit, and you can get all of the panels out of that card as well and still have a bit left over. But for this one, because it was white, I could have cut the panels out of the glitter card, but because everything was all like different top and bottom, I wanted to kind of make it uniform, being the same type of card to cut these out of. But to make it look a little bit different, you're also getting your alcohol pens in this kit. So all I did was colour it with the alcohol pens, and I decided to do an ombre effect. So I just used actually if you use the darker colour first and colour down halfway, and then use the lighter colour and blend up into it, you'll actually get this beautiful seamless ombre kind of blend between the two. Or you could be more precise, you could colour in certain parts of the flowers and stuff, maybe leave the border a different colour and colour the central section lighter, like I did for the top of the box as well. You can do whatever kind of colouring that you like, but this kind of Ice Rink card or the white pearl card that we're getting in the kit is fantastic for colouring with your pens, whether you're going for the pinks or the green, depending on what colours of cardstock you've used to make your box and everything. You still get the pearlescent finish coming through, and also with the pearlescent card you also get that pearlescent finish coming through. So it's a nice way of sort of adapting what cardstock you have to go with your colour scheme as well. So you've got two lovely pearlescent whitey kind of cardstocks that could become green or pink, depending on, you know, how you want to use them and everything as well. So I really wanted to mention that so that you've got that kind of idea in there. And I really love how that turned out. Really like that ombre effect. And those two pens, the two pinks that we're getting, the 449 and the 452, which are Delicate Rose and Pink Taffy, they work really, really nicely together for this ombre kind of blend on this cardstock as well. They go really nicely. So that is like the decoration portion, and then also for the decoration on this central section, which I decided not to stick in the bottom, so you could actually take the whole thing apart and you can fold this central piece flat, but I decided to do some stamping all over this, just using the thanks and those two little leaf stamps that you've got in there as well. And I'm looking for the ink pad. Did I put it away already? No, I didn't put it away. Where did I put it? Oh, it's up here. Okay, the ink pad I used, so this is the, can't remember the name of it, might be called Raspberry, coloured cardstock that we're getting in the kit. You can get all of these panels out of that one sheet as well to make your central core for your box. And I actually used Raspberry Smoothie as the ink to stamp onto this as well, and it gives a really nice tone on tone kind of look. And you can get a decent stamping on the textured side, but if you knew you were going to do the stamping before you die cut everything, you could die cut everything onto the smoother side of the cardstock, and then you would know that your stamping would come out even more perfectly when you do that as well. And especially if you were going to use the coordinating stamps to stamp these designs onto the top or the bottom of the box, if you die cut so that the smoother texture is, you know, facing upwards as you're die cutting into it, you would get a better surface for you to be able to stamp onto as well, rather than having the texture showing. You would definitely have to use your stamping platform to get a good impression on the textured side, so it's definitely doable. But if you didn't want to have to use your stamping platform, or you don't have one, definitely die cutting onto the smoother side of the card would be perfect for then stamping your images onto, to be able to colour them with your alcohol pens as well. So that is the bottom of the box, the top of the box, and the central column of the box, which are all individual, and that's just one way of making this box. I mean, I'm definitely sure there is another way of making this box, but I also think you could probably make your own kind of base for this, and maybe even cut the height of this down and then just have one of these as like the lid portion, and maybe make the box like all the way down to here or something, and then just have a flat bottom on the bottom of it as well. So I definitely think there's loads of different ways of turning this box into, you know, different kind of styles. And with the other way of putting the lid on, where it sort of flaps upwards, you could definitely do like the flat bottom of the box and then have that one lid that would then flap upwards just with the one portion of this as well. So I think there are loads of different ways of creating this box, so I wanted to show you something a little bit different to be able to create this one. And then for the kind of like flashcards to go inside this, I've just done 4 of these using all of the different colours, and everything from these and this was all just using the cardstock that you're getting in the kit, and I have quite a lot of leftovers as well. So all of the cardstock really does go a nice long way for creating all of these different sort of elements, and you could definitely fit more in here than I have done. I've done 4, but I reckon you could easily get 8 to 10 of these in there. So you know, these could be like different bookmarks. You could actually write your own like motivational quotes on here as well, but I just went with the stamps from the kit to add the sort of little sayings like hugs for you, love and hugs, love always, and enjoy as little ones. And then you could pin these onto your cork board as well. You could also have put photos in these sections too, to make them a little bit more personal as well. You could just use these lovely gorgeous rectangles as just like bookmark designs as well, or maybe put this right at the top of it so that this would stick out of the book and this part would be between the pages or something as well. But these are the ones that I just decided to put together. So I've kind of done like opposites for the backgrounds here. I've done the grass green card with the water sprite on top, or the water sprite with the grass green card on top for the 2 different effects, and they do actually look really different. You wouldn't have thought just switching the cardstock around would make that much difference, but they do actually give quite a different look. And having the larger section of card here, because it's that iridescent card, you can see the whole rainbow in that larger section, whereas when it's cut into a smaller section, you're mostly just seeing the blues and the yellows of the rainbow. You don't get much of that red, which is interesting actually. But yeah, that is just like mixing and matching those. And then for the 2 central sections on these, I've used that panel that decorates the top of the box, and I've used the glitter card with the Ice Rink over the top. I've used a couple of the tags here using the same 2 colours that I did for the backing piece, and then I've just used the ribbon. I got the 3mm ribbon in my kit, so I've just used that to add a little bow onto there. And then for this one, to make it a little bit different, I used one of the side panels for part of the lid, and I've also added the oval off the end and chopped it off, and this one's completely green, whereas the others I've mixed up the pink and green. And then also on this backing piece behind, I've just used my Nouveau silicone spatula and the gorgeous Glimmer Paste that we're getting in the kit, just to scrape a little bit along the back. You could completely cover it as well to make it look like you had green glitter card as well as the pink glitter card, but I like that messy kind of look of just having like a swipe of it across the back. But whatever your preference is, you can definitely do that as well. So I really like how that one turned out. And then the final 2 are again the opposites of each other, so using the glitter card behind, or the glitter card for the detail on this one, and then just the pearlescent white card. And then the 2 that I've done for this, in the background behind this one, it's the white pearl card, but I use that same silicone spatula to scrape some of the Nouveau glitter drops onto there. So the glitter drops have got I think the Glimmer Paste has a clear base as well, but I suppose because I was working on 2 white here, it's a much more subtle effect, because the pink glitter looks more sparse because it's onto white card, whereas on this one with the Glimmer Paste, the green glitter doesn't look as sparse because it's onto green card, so you don't really notice the sparseness of it, but it's a different kind of effect. You could definitely have done this onto the pink Craft Perfect textured card as well. And then I've just layered up those 2 little tags in a very similar way to the other one and added a little bow. And then for this one, again, I've done that sort of swipe of Glimmer Paste and then one of those little side panel die cuts, and then hanging the oval off the end as well. And I think they work really nicely as like little elements that you could pin onto your cork board if you wanted to, or onto a magnetic board, onto the fridge. All sorts of different ideas. And you could even make it so these different bits were removable and magnetic, and you could swap them around. There's loads of different ways that you could do it. Or if you didn't want to use the dies from the kit, I wanted to try and use all of these kind of dies, but you could just measure in here and cut wider rectangles just of cardstock and use them in there. Then you could handwrite on them. Maybe you could put verses of stuff on them as well, that are really personal to whoever you're giving them to too. And maybe even like stamp some gorgeous designs on them. Maybe some of your stamp clubs and stuff that you have, you could stamp some gorgeous images, colour them in, you know, all sorts of different things that you could do to put inside this box. So hopefully this has given you a little bit of inspiration of one way that you could use this month's craft kit. And I will pass you back to future me to, fingers crossed, show you some more projects using the kit as well. So I hope you enjoyed that project that Past Me just showed you. Then I've got two simple birthday cards to show you. They're practically the same, but using the different colours and switching out a couple of different things. But I wanted to show how you can, even if you only have a few alcohol pens, you can still use them to create your backgrounds. I've been quite messy with my backgrounds here, but if you really prefer the more precise kind of look, you could definitely do this with a ruler, and you could even use light pink, dark pink, green, and do a completely striped pattern, you know, following along with a ruler. If you wanted really straight lines, you could even do like a checked design and go in both directions as well. There's loads of different ways of you just using your pens to create a background. And I love the chisel end for this kind of technique as well, because you can get the wider stripes too, or you can go back in with the finer end and get thinner stripes to layer in different colours and stuff. And also when I'm doing it in more of like a loose arty fashion, I quite like the fact that you can sort of press on, oh, I can't get the lid off. I quite like the fact that you can press on the chisel end and then just like let go, you know, sort of leave less pressure. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like here you can kind of see it sort of feathers off. You know, like when you're painting with a paintbrush, and as the brush is kind of losing a bit of paint, you get that like dry brush little bit at the end. You can do that with your chisel tips by, you know, keeping the pressure on, and then as you get to the end of the stroke, you kind of lift the chisel, and then you get that cool little effect on there. So I've done it diagonally with both pinks for the pink one, and then I've done it vertically for the green one, and just really randomly doing little stripes. Then I've gone through my stash of Tonic Stencils and found two of my favourites. This is like, I think it was called Retro something, and this was called Simple Hearts, I think. So for the green one, I have used the green, try and say the name again, Nephrite Nebula Glimmer Paste through the stencil. And then for the pink one, I have actually used the Nouveau Glitter Drops through the stencil. And all I do for that is I like to take one of Tonic's silicone spatulas, or Nouveau brand of them. I think they're called Media spatulas. And I just squeeze some of it onto here, and then I scrape it through the stencil. And what I love about using the drops is because they're such a small bottle and they're supposed to be used for your, you know, making Nouveau drops and stuff, you want to be more frugal with this. And I like that because it gives you that slightly more distressed feel, because you don't have complete hearts everywhere. Some of them are complete, but other ones are more like distressed at the edges because you didn't want to do full coverage and waste a lot of your drops. So I really like that kind of faded off kind of effect that you get in there with little random areas. And the great thing about using the both actually, but it's more prominent with the Nouveau drops, because they're in a clear suspension. I think there's probably less glitter to substrate in a Nouveau glitter drop than there is in a Glimmer Paste, which is why this kind of sort of happens. But you get that kind of translucency to them, so you can still see the stripes behind it because there is sort of less glitter within the substrate, whereas with the Nouveau Glimmer Paste, it's very packed full of glitter, so every area is mostly sort of more opaque because of the densely compact glitter. So I love showing the difference between that using a Glimmer Paste or a Nouveau drop. And I'd say the Nouveau drop is slightly less textured because you have that self-leveling capability of a Nouveau drop. It kind of has slightly more of a smooth feel. It's a lot rougher on the Glimmer Paste for doing that kind of technique in a background. Both of them clean up in exactly the same way. They're both water-based, so I just take my stencil to the sink after I've done them relatively quickly, because it's easier to get it off if you don't let it dry on there. Although the newer formula for Glimmer Paste does take longer to dry, which is nicer for cleaning it it off, and I just use an old toothbrush at the sink and scrub off of the stencil, and it gets rid of all of the little particles of glitter and stuff that might be hiding in the detail of the stencil really nicely, so it's nice and clean for the next time you want to use it. So to finish off these cards, I've also gone with a vellum piece, and I also did a video on Tonic's new vellum as well, so if you want to check that out you can see all of the details about the vellum, and you can probably see it better on this one. And I've just cut that long panel that goes along the side of the box, and I just put it at a diagonal, trimmed off where it just overhung, and then, you know, it just adds something a little bit extra to the background. And on this one I layered it up over the top of those rainbows, so it's less evident what the pattern is, but it just kind of softens that area as well. And then for the main focal points, I took the main sort of pretty specialty card in that colour, so the glitter card and the iridescent card, cut the solid backing piece, and then cut the front ones from the pearlescent white card and layered them up. I've used my Dymo to do the word birthday on both of them. For this one I did hugs, and for this one I did love, because I've got the hearts from the stencil in the background, and it's just a way of creating a couple of really simple quick cards and showing you a few different uses of the Nouveau bits and pieces. But you can definitely switch out any of these elements that I've used on here for other parts of the die set and everything. On the project that past me just showed you, I don't know if I pointed it out or not, but I had used some of the side pieces on top of these pieces to give a different effect as well. So I had like taken you know, this kind of piece and cut that out and put it over the top, so you can also do that kind of effect as well. You could even cut the solid one from the pink glitter card and then cut that one from white and put it on top and flip it on the other side and do the same thing, so you can switch up the designs within there as well. And don't forget you have 2 different designs of each of these for that kind of shape as well, so you could definitely play around with that. So hopefully that just gives you a couple of ideas of how to use bits and pieces. And then I promised that I would show you the sort of construction of the box and how to put it together. And as I mentioned earlier, I thought that you could definitely change how this box goes together. So the way that past me showed you is my kind of made up way of using 4 of these lid pieces to create a different kind of top and bottom, similar to the pivot gift box that came out in one of the kits a while ago. But I also mentioned that I reckoned you could make a bottom out of this as well and just have a flat bottom to the box. So I'm going to attempt to see if I can get that to work. And I don't 100% know if it is going to work, actually, thinking about it. But I'm going to attempt it, see if we can get it to work, and I'm going to show you, even if the bottom doesn't work, I'm going to show you how you put one of these single pieces together to make the sort of flip top lid to go on the box as well. So first of all, for the box I have cut 4 of these. This is what I was using the pattern paper for, and I have put a rectangle die cut of the pattern paper on all of them. You can see I was trying to match the pattern as well, and that's actually quite an easy pattern to match up this rectangle with, so you can actually get uniformity across your sides if you you know, are worried about lining things up like that. Then I've put some 3mm red liner tape on the little glue tabs here, and all I'm going to do to begin with is just take my scissors, take off the backing of the tape and just stick all of these together. Because these are just straight lines, it doesn't really matter about doing the pre-folding at this stage. We can get them all stuck together into one long side panel for the box first. And you're just doing what we always do, you're lining up the cut edge to the score line on that little glue tab and making sure that the top and the bottom line up as well, so that you've got you know, straight lines all the way along. So we'll put all 4 panels together, and then we're going to want to do all the pre-folding after we've done this, before we stick the final one together. So now we've got that one long piece, we can go along and score all of these, and depending on how thick the card is you've used, you might want to use your glide folder or bone folder to crease them to make sure that they're nice and well folded. you definitely want to do that if you're using like 300 GSM. I have just used the Textured Craft Perfect on mine, but it's always nice to reinforce those score lines. It helps because we've done it this way, you're actually also pushing the glue tab on nice and firmly as well, but it also just helps get that really nice crisp finish and like professional look when you've finished putting the box together as well. And then we've got the final little glue tab to do. And then because this box has got an even number of sides, we can take this one, fold it in, and we can take the liner off of that, and then we can actually fold this one in and line it up like that to get it to stick. So we've actually got a flat piece then that pops back up into the box shape. So that is like the main core of the box, which you also will have seen earlier in the other one that I showed you. And I showed on that one about stamping straight onto it, but you could also stamp extra onto this paper as well. If you've got like, I think it's called dried oregano, the green ink pad from the Nouveau range. That would look really nice with some of the words on there as well. Or if you have the older, larger ink pads, it's called Safari Green, the green colour from that as well. Then I want to decorate all of these skinny panels. I could have done the debossing die into it, but I wanted to, the lid is going to be green, so I wanted to bring the green in the rest of the box. So I took my Tonic Super Trimmer and the piece of iridescent card, and I cut strips that were 1 centimetre wide. And then I just used that debossing die in the centre of them, and then snipped off either end at the same kind of degree that there was little edges left next to the die, if that makes sense. So I've just snipped off to the same sort of amount, and then I've just used some 9mm red liner tape so it goes nice and close up to the edges. And then I just want to stick these on all of these edge pieces to add a lovely little bit of green decoration to them. And I want to make sure the stars are all going up the same way, because they're a 5-pointed star on here, so they do kind of go up one way or the other. So I want to try and make it so they're all going up the same way. So we want the point pointing downwards. And then line that one up. And the point pointing downwards again. And then the last one. When I do a construction video actually, do you prefer it when I actually do one that looks pretty, or do you not mind if it would just be like the main carcass of the box, or do you prefer it when you actually see me decorating one? I've always wondered what you prefer, so let me know in the comments whatever kind of construction you prefer. So that's what that box looks like now, with the stars going all the way round, and we can decide if we want the stars pointing upwards or downwards. I think I want them to be the right way up, so I'm going to make this the top of the box so that the stars, the point is facing upwards of the little 5-pointed stars, although then the leaves are facing downwards. Oh, I like the leaves going down. Okay, we are going to make that the top. Then we want to make the green lid. That's going to be the next thing. So for the green lid, I have debossed those ones in. You do only get one of the same pattern, so you do have to do it twice, and you get a lovely deep impression if you die cut this first and then deboss these in. You get a nice deep impression then, because if you actually deboss that and die cut this at the same time, the deboss die doesn't press into the card as much, because the kind of cutting edge of the die stops it from pressing into the card quite so much. You can have an experiment, try it both ways, and you'll kind of see what I mean. You don't get as deep an impression if you've taped this die to the cutting die, but you can yeah, definitely have a play, see what you think as well. So to decorate this one, I have done what I was telling you about, what Past Me was telling you about, cutting it from Ice Rink. So this is the Ice Rink card, and then I have coloured it with my alcohol pen that we get in the kit. So now we've got green pearlescent card to go on the top of this. So let me get the green pen, and a little bit of scrap paper just so I don't have to clean my mat. And you can literally just use the chisel end and scribble over the top. See, look, I'm holding the lid and I could put it on there. I do it every time. And there we go, simple as that. You've got a gorgeous pearlescent green die cut then, and we didn't have any pearlescent green cardstock in the kit, but you've instantly got pearlescent green as your little panels then. So we can stick all of these on. Just get my glue. And then for the main lidded panel, the top of the lid of the box, I have cut that from just the white card that I cut the main body of the box from, and I have layered it onto the same iridescent mirror card that I've used for those strips going down the side of the box. So the top of the very top of the box matches the main body of the box absolutely perfectly. Just to make it all tie together. I decided to go just green on this box because the other one that Past Me showed you was, the box was all just pink. So I was still trying to use only just the cardstock that we got in the kit, and I have still managed that. So you can get at least a couple of boxes and some cards and still have some leftover paper as well after you've finished. And one more panel. And then we can start putting this together. And obviously you can make the lid the same colour as the box. You don't have to mix and match your colours, but it's quite nice because you get all of the different colours in the kit and they're all the same style of cardstock because they're all Tonic's textured cardstock. It looks really nice because everything goes together and it's all textured, whereas if you were picking from your stash you might have one bit that's textured, one bit that's smooth, and it might look a little bit disjointed. But having it you know, all be the same brand, it's quite nice because it all goes together really nicely. So this is going to be my little flip top lid, and I've stuck all of the panels on. You can see where I've added adhesive. I've used 6mm, and actually I just cut 6mm in half, but you can definitely use a little bit of 3mm tape depending what you have. And then we do want to pre-fold all of these. So this here, this little tab is going to be the hinge, and this is going to attach to the box, and then all the rest of this actually creates the main lid. So we can fold all of these. Again, you can use your card creaser or your glide fold or anything that you want to as well. And you can see here how this side of the lid doesn't go all the way. So the one that Past Me showed you, you saw how this was overlapping in the other direction, and that's because this side piece doesn't go all the way to the end of the lid. It's actually just a partial piece because of the way this box is supposed to go together, I think. I'm still not 100% sure how it's supposed to go together, but I think it's supposed to flip up like this. I'm sure you'll get instructions in the kit, but we got ours really early this month, so we didn't have any instructions to go with. And you're literally just going to take the tape off and fold it around the rest of the box, just lining up cut line with score line, like with any Tonic box. It's a really simple assembly. And there we go, we've got our main lid created, and then we can just put, you're going to want to stick that inside the box, I think. Although we could have done it to stick on the outside of the box, but I do think I want to put it on the inside of the box. And we're just going to stick that together like that to create our flip top lid. So we can pull that off. And then I think I'm going to try and do it like this. So we're going to take this flap and we want to get it in the centre of that longer side. And we want to line up that score line with the cut line as well. Okay, and then we can press really firmly from the inside. You could also line the inside if you want to cover that tab as well. And then there you have your actual like flip top lid. Oh, I guess that's why it's called the Bureau Bloom box, because that's kind of like how an old desk would have opened up. But yeah, that's a really cool kind of lid for the box, and I think the actual idea of the box is to create another one of these so that they both come to a point here, and then you tie that a little bit with ribbon. But I wanted to see if I could manage to make a bottom for the box. So the only thing is the sides, because these sides are all the same length, which would make this part of the box square, but this isn't square because we proved that with twisting the decorative panel round earlier. So I might have to just makeshift this and do my own lid. Okay, scrap the making our own base. We're going to go back to this idea and see if this works, because I think the own base is just going to be far too difficult. If I can't be bothered to do it, then I don't think any of you would be bothered to do it. So let's see what we can do with actually just using the base portion of the lid. And actually that would just work really easily. I went to all that effort. It's not going to be, still not going to be perfect, but it's probably going to be much better than actually trying to create our own base. Okay, so we're going back to the original idea, which was much quicker as well, and we're going to turn this into a base. So we've got that already, and you just saw how I cut off the glue tab for that, and then I just cut these excess pieces off that were actually in the negative of this die cut, and I've just made myself little glue tabs. So we're just going to stick one under the base of that, and then this one will be used to stick it to the box. And we're not bothering with glue tabs on the corners. And then that should hopefully make a bottom for the box, hopefully. That just about works as the bottom of the box. So it is possible to take part of the lid and turn it into a base for the box. And bearing in mind I haven't stuck that yet though, it might be a bit fiddlier to stick it. Let's have a go at sticking it, just so you can actually see it finished. I might cut out the me trying to faff around and make a base, because that did not work. It's not symmetrical at all. Like, this is folding far more than that one is. So this is the best way to make it, I think, just using an actual part of the lid. It's still not going to be 100% perfect, but it is much easier than trying to make your own lid or base by drawing around the box like I usually would, because usually when I've done it before, you've got quite a solid hexagonal, pentagonal, octagonal kind of a shape that you can actually draw around, but this, it's just not working. So I think this is definitely the best way to do it. And how I'm going to get this lid in is probably going to be a little bit tricky, but what I'm going to do is I've taken the tape off of all of them, and then I'm going to put some Nouveau Deluxe adhesive on the top of the glue, at top of the tape, so that it should hopefully still be able to slide around a little bit and it won't grab before I'm ready for it to stick properly. And you can also try and fold these tabs in a little bit as well before you put the base in, and then we can poke them back outwards from the inside. And we can just, oh, that worked out much easier than I thought it was going to. Okay, so we've got all of that inside now, but those tabs aren't actually sticking yet, so we need to carefully turn this over without dislodging anything, and then go from the inside of the box and press these glue tabs up against the outside. So it's quite a hassle to make a flat bottom for this box, but it is possible. So if you did want to do something like that and only have one of these flip tops and not have the whole, double join thing, and you just wanted this kind of a look. This kind of looks like, there used to be mints that you could get in like a little flip toppy thing like this, and it used to have like an extra bit of cardboard to help it stay down. I can't remember what kind of mints they were now. It could be chewing gum as well. It reminds me of a chewing gum packet as well, with the little pellets of chewing gum in. But yeah, it's a cool little idea for a box. And what I was saying about the 9mm ribbon earlier on, I think you could get away with this one. Maybe adhering you might want to use green ribbon actually, because I've used all green to make the box, but you could put like a circle or something to hold the ribbon here and not have the adhesive show, and then pull the ribbon around the front and use this hole to kind of go one up one way, one up the other way, and tie a bow using the thicker ribbon, because I do think it will fit through that hole. So that was a little bit of going all around the houses trying to create a bottom for that, but it is possible. You just need a little bit of patience really, and it's not going to be 100% perfect, but it is possible to do by using part of this top of the box to create it as well. However, I think I prefer the other way that I made the box, the one that Past Me showed you. So I think give both of them a go, see which one you prefer, whether you want to just use one of these or use 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom to create the actual kind of box element as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this Tonic Craft Kit unboxing video for kit number 55, which is the Bureau Bloom box. Hopefully I haven't confused you with trying to show you how that goes together, but don't forget I do also have a step-by-step blog post on the Tonic blog showing you how I put the main project together with all the little card, sort of bookmarky card things inside it as well. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. All of the links to any of the bits and pieces from the kit, and also where you can buy the monthly kit or subscribe to the kit, will be in the description box below the video. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this one. I really liked the colour scheme of this kit, and I think all of the little panels are going to be really pretty for your cards, or if you just want to create the little boxes as well. I think they're going to be a lovely kind of small little, well, they're a decent size actually, a decent size little gift box to put different bits and pieces in. And I reckon you could probably use this as like part of a character maybe. You could think about that could be the head of the character moving. Actually, this, looking at that sideways, this is making me think of like an elephant's ear, and you could have a trunk coming out the front of it, and it could be like the head of an elephant, and it could move up and down. So I think there's loads of different ways of sort of adapting this box, and I've shown you multiple different ways of decorating it, whether you're using the debossing dies and cutting them into strips, using the pattern papers, using your Nouveau drops to accent this kind of area, and you could definitely accent this area as well. Just make sure they don't go up here because it might interfere with the lid closing and stuff. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got a little bit of inspiration, maybe just how to use some of your Nouveau bits and pieces, or how to use the actual dies from the set as well. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!